Hello and welcome to this edition of UNAIDS LAC Update, where we update you around UNAIDS activities throughout Latin America and the Caribbean. Our special guest today is Richard Amenyah, Multi-contry Director for UNAIDS in the Caribbean region. He's talking to us directly from Kingston, Jamaica. Richard, welcome to UNAIDS LAC Update. Tell us about this very busy year you've had in the Caribbean, starting by the strategies for the elimination of mother-to-child transmission.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daniel. It's always a great pleasure to talk to you and to be on this platform. Greetings from the Caribbean. And yes, indeed, this year has been a very fantastic year for UNAIDS in the Caribbean. And I'm really very grateful to my very able team members who have really helped to make sure that we achieve a lot of results in the region in our quest to end AIDS as a public health threat. You mentioned what we have done in the area of mother-to-child transmission. That is indeed a great ask from you, simply because, yes, we have some good news. Within the year, a lot of work has gone into helping and providing technical assistance to Belize to be certified as having eliminated mother-to-child transmission of HIV. And I really want to use this opportunity to thank the Belizean government for all the hard work that they have put into this, and also to thank PAHO for pulling all of us together in terms of helping Belize to come this far. Belize has also within the year eliminated malaria, and so they have double success in 1 year, which I think that is wonderful. And I think that the government really has made a lot of inroads in this area. Prior to this process, the government made it a point to look at their laws and how it more or less could be reviewed. And what the Belizean government was able to do was to try and decriminalize HIV non-disclosure, exposure, and transmission, which I think was very, very helpful in this process. And also the Belizean government has worked hard to remove financial barriers to people accessing health services by making sure that people have free access to a lot of their public health facilities, which is an excellent pronouncement and commitment and leadership from the Belizean government, and we really applaud them. As part of this process, we have worked with the joint team led by PAHO here in Jamaica to also help Jamaica to do its evaluation, validation process in terms of looking at its data to certify that they have eliminated mother-to-child transmission and also syphilis. And so the assessment has been done. It has taken them 7 long years to be able to come this far. And we are keeping our fingers crossed that Jamaica will be validated pretty soon. Maybe next year we'll be getting that good news. But all the foundation has been laid, and we are just waiting for that wonderful news. We have also worked with St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and so waiting to hear from the validation committee exactly how they have fared. So in the area of elimination of mother-to-child transmission of the HIV, a lot of work has been done, and I'm really very grateful to PAHO and all the co-sponsors and civil society groups that were part of the regional validation committee and all the hard work that has been put into it, most especially for the government in these countries having committed to make sure that when countries that have eliminated are counted, their countries are also mentioned. And so that is what I would say in relation to the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV.
Oh, that's a lot of good news. And hopefully, yes, other countries will join this elimination pretty soon. Congrats to Belize and the others who are advancing on that. And Richard, we know another topic that is very important to the Caribbean is advancing human rights and law reforms to address stigma and discrimination. What can you tell us about the highlights of this year?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much. The year has been very busy as a continuum from last year. Anytime you want to review laws, punitive laws and policies, it doesn't just take a snap. It takes a lot of effort and hard work. And I think we are building on the successes that we had last year, in which we have a lot of the OECS countries decriminalizing same-sex relationships, and I think that is something that we've been very happy about, and so decided to build upon that hard work of civil society, going through strategic litigation and helping to make a very strong case at the courts to make sure that issues of privacy and confidentiality are provided to people who feel that they are not being treated equally and are being treated very differently. And so last year we had Barbados, we have Antigua, Bermuda, St. Kitts and Nevis joining the elite groups of countries that have decriminalized. And so work is still on. This year we focus on getting St. Lucia and Grenada, working with civil society groups to make sure that the litigants are well prepared for what is going to come up. And also for those three countries that I mentioned earlier, we are doing follow-ups in terms of helping the countries as to how to review those punitive laws and make it more protective. We are also working with the litigants with this new dispensation in terms of change of the laws. We need to also work on trying to change the hearts and minds of people. Most of these laws have been there for decades, and so people need to warm up to the new change that has happened. And so we are working with our co-sponsors, working with the civil society, UNAIDS in particular, to make sure that we are helping these litigants who are more or less the face of this change in terms of their security, in terms of how they engage the media and all sorts of things. And so we are very happy that a lot of work has been put into this area. And as we may know, they say that the Caribbean is actually leading globally on the decriminalization front. And I think it is based on the hard work of civil society and also the commitment of some government to make sure that people are treated fairly and not differently. The rights of people are also respected, protected, and also fulfilled. So basically on that front, these are the things that we have done this year. In addition, we also try to build the capacities of judges. We did that in partnership with UNDP and with people from the judiciary, experts, people who are experts in the law, and the judges, those who give interpretation to the law and all that, have been capacitated in terms of trying to put a human face, having a people-centered law that doesn't discriminate against people. So that within the year, I think, was very, very helpful. And we thank the Trinidad and Tobago government for hosting the training of people from the judiciary and also judges from across the region to be there to learn also from other experiences from Africa and what has happened in those jurisdictions, and to help improve on our jurisprudence and also how people are dealt with as far as the law is concerned. So we are trying to leverage the power of the law in order to advance public health, to end the AIDS epidemic. And I think that is something that we are very happy about to have been partnering with UNDP to do. Thank you.
That's excellent. And we can say already that 2024 for UNAIDS will be a priority year to fight for the rights of key populations, LGBT populations, and those most vulnerable. So happy to see you leading the way and inspiring us as well in this movement. And of course, this cannot be done without strengthening partnerships and communities. This has been the year of communities also for UNAIDS. How are you putting all this together?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. As you know, the Wellness Day, the theme was let communities lead. And the community people will tell you nothing for us without us. And so it is important that we have a people-centered HIV response, a people-centered strategies and community-led strategies that will help us to be able to end this epidemic once and for all. Communities are actually people who, or groups that clearly have first-hand experience of living with HIV or being affected with HIV, and also being passionate about trying to help the world to end AIDS. And so they are like the guiding post for ending AIDS, So for us to be able to move on that path, communities should be seen as people who are trusted, people who occupy the civic space and are the watchdogs of community action. They open the doors for us to be able to engage with the populations at risk of HIV, persons living with HIV, and people affected by HIV. So communities really should be seen as strategic partners in their response, and not a competitor. The work of communities should be seen as complementary. And so clearly for UNAIDS, we are championing this in the Caribbean, making sure we are mobilizing communities, giving them a voice, and making sure that they provide that strategic leadership that will get us there. That stigma and discrimination is a big deal for us in the region, and it is important that to be able to address this, we have communities at the forefront trying to put a human face to this epidemic. And so we don't joke with communities. And within the year, we have worked with civil society groups in terms of building and developing their strategic plans for advocacy, how they would have to mobilize themselves, mobilize resources, engage in partnership for an inclusive response to complement what the government is doing. And so we have done that, especially in Jamaica, where we mobilize civil society to work on their advocacy strategy, their strategic plans, and also how they will evolve to strengthen their partnership with government. Resource mobilization is a big deal. And so we are using this as a great opportunity to harmonize and unify the front of communities and civil society groups in their diversity as they are, and to make sure that government is able to leverage their expertise and efforts through social contracting to help the government to end AIDS epidemic in our regions. And so communities are very crucial element of the HIV response, and we are working with the different groups, be they key population groups, young people as well. They've not been left out. And so we are helping young people to build their strategies, as well as how we can leverage the support of young people to address issues around new infections, and also getting people to know their HIV status, and for those who need treatment, being linked to care and treatment, so that it is a collective response that we are getting multidisciplinary teams and community partnerships to be able to help us speak the voice that would end this epidemic in the Caribbean once and for all. The point is that the communities have led this response from the beginning, and we really want them to provide that leadership as we end this epidemic. The last mile is going to be difficult. There is no way that we can just do this without the voices of the communities who hold themselves accountable and hold government accountable. And with the new target, the 2025 targets that we have, communities have a very big role to play in terms of making sure that we attain the 10-10-10 target and the 30-80-60 targets. And these are direct targets that communities need to provide that leadership for. And so our role is to work with government, with the donor partners, to leverage more on what the communities bring to the table, and to help all of us to be in sync, and to also help us to ensure that at least we are getting the voices of communities, engaging them in the planning, the design, and the implementation, and monitoring and evaluation of programs and projects. And I think that is what the communities bring to the table. And we in UNAIDS want to leverage that as much as we can.
Thank you, Richard. And I would like to invite everyone who is listening to us and following us to take a look at the Global AIDS Strategy 2021-2026 to learn more about these targets, the social enabler targets 10-10-10, the community empowerment targets 30-80-60 mentioned by Richard, as well as the HIV service and treatment targets, the 95-95-95. They are very important, and they are what guide us in this moment. Richard, you also mentioned the joint work of the co-sponsor agencies. For those who don't know, UNAIDS is the secretariat of this UN joint HIV program, and we coordinate and partner with these 11 co-sponsoring agencies, and also to offer technical support to countries and partners. How is this work being developed in the Caribbean, and what were the highlights this year?
Sure, thank you very much. You know, in UNAIDS, as you rightly said, UNAIDS, or the Joint United Nations Program against HIV and AIDS, basically it's a co-sponsored led program with clear division of labor, you know, and so it's a very unique arrangement within the UN, where we have agencies with their comparative advantages and capacities being brought to bear in their areas of focus. So it is a unique arrangement, and we in the UNAIDS Secretariat, our role is to ensure that we are coordinating our co-sponsors in terms of what they do. And so even if they have resources in to address other cross-cutting issues, for instance, a lot of the co-sponsors had resources for the spotlight. And as part of that arrangement, we work with the co-sponsors to ensure that issues around HIV, gender-based violence, you know, are all addressed. And I think that has worked uniquely for us in the Caribbean. For instance, in Jamaica, through the co-sponsors, a lot has been done in terms of working with women who are survivors of gender-based violence, you know, issues about shelters and all that, which protects women and girls and young people, you know, who have been abused in one way or the other by their partners. And it is important that this support from the co-sponsors be recognized through this arrangement. For instance, in Jamaica, we're working with the Ministry of Gender, Youth and Sports. You would see that a lot has happened in that space, where issues about the policy has been reviewed, and a new law has been passed in terms of sexual harassment at the workplace. And so government is deliberately taking steps to be able to protect women and girls in the world of work. And so there are education programs now going on to educate people about what their rights are and how the law protects them. As we speak, there is also the Gender-Based Violence Act that is being revised, you know, to take into consideration the new and evolving evidence that is being gathered. So on that front, I think the co-sponsors, we have worked very well to try and address issues around inequalities and the intersections that exist that actually drive HIV. And whether we look at it from a gender lens, whether we look at it from the lens of education, health, or issues about decent work, and around issues around human rights and global partnership. I think our work is to help coordinate and pull all these together to make sure that we have a comprehensive response in support of the sustainable development cooperation frameworks that a lot of the UN country teams are implementing within the region. So this is what I will say, and obviously I think a good work has been done so far, and I'm happy, and I do congratulate the co-sponsors for their strong contribution to the joint team on AIDS, basically working on issues around human rights, enabling environment, investing also in young people's program, addressing issues about women living with HIV and social protection issues, addressing issues around PrEP, and also helping with all the arrangement with key populations and civil society. So I think as a collective, our joint program on AIDS is very strong, and I really want to encourage our co-sponsors to continue to work hard, because the last mile is the most difficult to do, and let's continue with that strong partnership in order to make a great dent on the HIV epidemic in the Caribbean.
Excellent. Yes, the clock's ticking for us. So yes, the last mile and the final sprint is very much needed. And also we need something that is very important that guide us as well in what we do in our decisions, which is data and good quality data that is able to really impact the response to HIV. What has been done in this area, and what's your perspective around what's happening in the Caribbean?
Yeah, if there is no way you can measure anything, then you can comfortably say the thing has not been done. And so data is what the global AIDS strategy is telling us to leverage. We leverage the evidence, we leverage the science, we leverage the data that is there. And countries that have succeeded, especially those 5 countries that have managed to attain the 95 target, they did it using the data. Even though political will was key, one of the key elements was about data. So here in the UNAIDS, what we have done is to help countries in the region to be able to do strong estimation of their HIV epidemic. So within the year, we held training on HIV estimation, and then also help countries to more or less report into the global AIDS monitoring platform, which we use in generating the global report on the HIV response. And so data is important for policy making. Data is important to see if we are making the difference, moving from output to impact, and it is important that we invest in data, have high quality data that will help us to also mobilize additional resources. I think our policy people really want evidence-based programming. And so for us to be able to make a strong case to put HIV on the agenda for resource purposes, they really want to see what is the data saying. Why should they invest in this area of work? There are other competing health needs, and so what evidence are we put on the table? And I think that is why UNAIDS, the data for impact division, we are investing a lot of time and effort to help countries collect quality data, programmatic data, epidemiological data, new strategic information that is needed, and also financial data, helping countries and providing the necessary quality assurance for countries to be able to collect good data that can be analyzed, generate trends, and see how change is taking effect over a period of time, and to let us see if we are getting closer to our target or we are not shifting the needle at all. And so that is a strong area for us. And one way that we are able to get that done is to provide the necessary technical assistance. As I speak with you, we are helping Belize, Guyana, and Suriname, and also Trinidad and Tobago to either develop their strategic plans or review their strategic plans. In Belize, Guyana, and Suriname, they're actually doing a midterm review of their strategic plan, looking at what the data is saying. Are we able to reach the target that we have set? How the program has been designed? Is it helping us to achieve results? And so we can only measure the results when we have very strong data set that we can have confidence in. And I think that is what UNAIDS continuously is helping to build capacity of governments within the Caribbean region to be able to report comprehensively into the global aid small monitoring platform, because it is the data that they report that UNAIDS uses to say this is how far member states have managed to respond to HIV. And so it is very important that we continuously engage country governments to prioritize the issues around data, build strong monitoring and evaluating capacity, and also invest into research to generate new data, new evidence, to look at how behavior is shifting, the issues about risks, it is also shifting and all that. And these are things which it is only the data that can speak for us. Even when we look at the different targets that we have, as you mentioned, the 10-10-10 targets, the 30-80-60 target, the 90-90 target, the issues around the 95-95-95 target. Most of these things, all of these are linked to the data. And because they are linked to the data, our job is to help countries to be able to measure their effort in terms of meeting this target. And so at least we have the standards, we have the targets that become the key performance indicators that we measure countries with. So there is a lot of work that we are doing. We still have unfinished business that we have to continue to work harder. So we are looking forward to 2024, to continue with the things that we are currently working on, and we're also assessing ourselves the areas that we need to strengthen, areas that we need to do more of, and areas that are working that we think we need to send to scale. So I'm looking forward to 2024 with a lot of excitement and hoping that we'll be able to help governments in the Caribbean region to be on top of the epidemic response. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. It's been great talking to you, and kudos to you and team for this amazing and inspiring work. Thanks for taking time to update us with the main highlights of this year in the region, and hopefully we'll have more opportunities to be in touch and learn more about what's going on in the region. Thank you, and congratulations to everyone in the UNAIDS Multi-Country Office for the Caribbean. Well, see you in the next opportunity.
Thank you so much. Sure.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And I really want to thank my team, and also thank you and your team at the RST for all the support that you've been giving to us here. I think it's been very helpful. We couldn't have done all this without the support from the region and also from the global center. And so we really are very happy and thankful to all the support that you guys have been giving to us. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful holiday, Christmas holiday, and we look forward to a brighter new year. Thank you.
Yeah, same to you. Thanks, Richard. Well, thanks for being with us here in UNAIDS LAC Update. We've learned a lot about what's going on in the Caribbean and hope to see you soon in the next edition. Take care. Bye.